going on, everybody? How you doing? Today here I am in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm on the campus of Florida State University. And let me just say, if you've never been to a university campus in Florida, especially on a weekend, it's exactly what you think. We got car washes going on, students at the bars right there, students everywhere, everybody's out. It's a beautiful summer, sunny day. It's not summer. Oh, look at this. There's a random picture of Ronald Reagan right here in the leaves. Odd. Now I'm here to continue my series about Ted Bundy. I started a video, I finished a video last year about his last victim, Kimberly Leach, 12 years old. And I also filmed another video that I had planned to put up back then, but I knew I wasn't finished because I was coming back to Florida at some point. I always make my way down to Florida to film. So many opportunities down here, so many things to film. And Ted Bundy's reign of terror continued here in Tallahassee. Now this would be before the Kimberly Leach murder. But right here across the street is where, after evading police for a very long time, he settled right here. So Ted Bundy arrived in Tallahassee, Florida on the morning of January 8th. He stayed one night at a hotel, but then he began, wow, that is loud, thank you. Oh boy, this is going to be difficult if that music keeps going. See some fraternity houses here. Bar here, fraternity house here. But he rented a room under the alias Chris Hagen at a boarding house. That boarding house used to stand right here. Right beyond that oak tree. That's where the boarding house was located, where he stayed. He stated that he initially tried to find legitimate employment and refrain from any further criminal activity, figuring Florida was a good place to remain free and undetected, as long as he did not attract the attention of police, which was not his forte, which was not something Ted Bundy was good at doing. He applied for a job at a construction site, but when they asked to produce identification, he said, I can't do that. Didn't get a job. So he reverted to his old habits of shoplifting, stealing money and credit cards from women's wallets left in shopping carts in grocery stores. Keep in mind, this old oak tree has been here since Ted Bundy lived on the property. So now we're going to leave this location where he was staying here in Tallahassee, Florida, on the campus, and go not too far to a sorority house, January 15th, 1978. Now that was about a 1-minute drive from where we just were, just over past those buildings. It's a beautiful campus. And I'm going to turn right past this little coffee shop, dessert place. And we're going to walk right up here. Now, in case I'm coming in hot with this Ted Bundy subject, you don't know anything about Ted Bundy. I was just assuming everybody does, actually, and I shouldn't do that. But maybe you don't. He was one of, if not the worst serial killer in American history. And if you watch my Kimberly Leach video, I explain more about him. He committed crimes all across America. Florida is ultimately where he ended up near the end, and where he was apprehended, and where he was executed. And we're going to be going to all those locations in these videos. 20 confirmed victims, 30 that he confessed to, over 36 he's suspected of. And right here, January 15th, 1978, is where he committed 4 of his final crimes. And this is before his final victim, the 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. You see on your right a gray building with white columns. That's the Chi Omega sorority house. In the early hours of January 15th, 1978, this is just 1 week after he arrived here in Tallahassee. Through a rear door with a faulty locking mechanism, Ted Bundy entered the building. And about 2:45 a.m., he bludgeoned Margaret Bowman, 21, with a heavy piece of oak firewood. She was sleeping. He then strangled her with a nylon stocking and ripped her underwear off with such force that friction burns were found on one of her thighs. This is going to get descriptive, just so you know. So if you are squeamish or cannot handle the horrific details, I understand completely. After killing Bowman, he walked directly across the hall and entered the bedroom of 20-year-old Lisa Levy. He beat her unconscious and strangled her. He bit deeply into her left buttock and through one of her nipples, nearly severing it from her right breast. He then raped her with a bottle of hair mist that he found in the room. It ruptured her internal organs. In an adjoining bedroom, he attacked Kathy Kleiner, breaking her jaw and deeply lacerating her shoulder. And then Karen Chandler, in the same room, suffered a concussion, broken jaw, loss of teeth, and a crushed finger. Now, it's worth noting that Chandler and Kleiner both survived the attack. Kleiner said it probably was due to car headlights illuminating the bedroom and scared the intruder off. As he was running away from the scene, Ted Bundy was spotted by sorority sister named Nita Neary, who came through the back door and saw him as he made a run for it. Tallahassee detectives determined that the four attacks took place in a total of less than 15 minutes, within earshot of more than 30 witnesses who heard nothing. Now, you may think that's weird, but you got to understand this early in the morning. These girls were asleep. They were attacked while they were sleeping. With one knock of the oak wood on their head, they're out. So you're not going to hear much. You're not going to hear much screaming. That's what I assume. That's what I think. You're just not. That's why people didn't hear what was going on. I mean, you see, I believe this is no longer a sorority. I think it's some sort of administrative building, but you can see all the bedrooms where they would be. So they're close together, but I just don't think. I think he slept in. He knew what he was doing. And he knocked them out before they even had a chance to fight back and respond. Police converged on the sorority house not long after his rampage and began investigating the scene. Initially, the puncture wound through Lisa Levy's nipple briefly caused some to believe that there had been a shooting at the sorority house because it looked like a gunshot wound. Although seriously injured and unconscious, she did survive the assault at first, Lisa Levy, but she died shortly thereafter en route to the hospital. Then, Ted Bundy left this house. But he wasn't done. After 4 brutal attacks here at the sorority house, he went somewhere else. And that's where we're going to go next. Back in 1978, this street looked a lot different than Woody Street. There are rows of houses on either side where I am right now. Now there's, looks like a motel, but I'm not sure what that is. Barbershop looks, this building here looks time appropriate. I think it's been around for a long time. But this building here, this parking lot here, there are houses going all the way down. So this is roughly where the houses stand, right on this street. And like I said, it's completely different. But this is within an hour of those brutal attacks at the sorority house. He donned a makeshift pantyhose mask with holes cut out from the see-through. Then he made his way to a duplex house right here, 8 blocks away, where he approached the apartment's bedroom window. And climbed through, finding Cheryl Thomas. Cars keep coming out of that parking lot and keep interrupting. It gets a little too loud, sorry. Bundy viciously attacked her, dislocating her shoulder as well as fracturing her jaw and skull in 5 places. She was left with permanent deafness and equilibrium damage that ended her dance career. Now, for unknown reasons, and also because he's a massive idiot, loser, Ted Bundy pulled his mask off and dropped it on the bed. Thomas's neighbors in the rooms adjacent overheard the racket and phoned police, who discovered her lying in bed, badly beaten. In addition to the mask he left behind, which contained hairs similar to Bundy's in class and characteristics, the police also found, it's very loud behind me, a semen stain on the bed, though there was no evidence of sexual assault. The fact that Bundy attacked Cheryl Thomas so soon after the murders of Bowman and Levy at the sorority house was something that bewildered law enforcement, and the sheriff, initially expressing shock and disbelief that the same person would strike twice in such a short span of time. Ted Bundy was on I feel like the walls were closing in on him and he knew it, and he was on a murder spree here in Tallahassee. After here, he drove to Jacksonville. And then he drove back from Jacksonville to a small town. That's where my Kimberly Leach video, if you haven't seen it, that's where that takes place. But in my next video, I'm going to be going to the location where Ted Bundy was apprehended and where he was arrested. And where he was spotted is not the exact location where he was arrested. I'm going to take you to the exact location where he was arrested. There is a building here at Florida State University, an abandoned building near a frat house, Phi Kappa Phi. And I've looked it up, and the building does not seem to exist anymore, but it was an abandoned building for years, and it has a giant hole, like where a doorway was, and it's called the Bundy hole. And legend has it that that's where Bundy hid out. He didn't go back to that rented house where the oak tree is. And he hid out in this abandoned building, this hole. I think it's more legend. I think it's more students, who are here. Every student is going to know what happened here at Florida State University. I would assume most of them would know. The most infamous serial killer in history struck here. But that building does not seem to exist anymore. I went by that frat house. I'm going to take another look for it. I don't think it's here anymore. It was here for quite a long time. It was here in 1978. You think, and then not too long ago, it was still here. But from the coordinates I was given and what I was able to see, it's not here. But I will take another look for it, and if I do find it, you'll see it. If not, you'll see me in the next video where I'm going to be in Pensacola, Florida, talking more about Ted Bundy. And then after that video, there's another one coming about Ted Bundy because he didn't make it out of Florida. Rest in peace to the 2 victims of Ted Bundy here at Florida State University. Peace out. Next video coming soon. Just as we're ending the video, the fraternity house is right to our right as I'm driving out of Tallahassee, and right to the left of it would have been the abandoned building right here. And as you can see, there's new housing built all around here. So I'm thinking it's definitely gone. If you're a Florida State University student and you happen to watch this video and you know the Bundy hole that I'm talking about, please let me know, and maybe next time I'm here I can go see it. But I'm almost 100% certain the Bundy hole is no more. Just like Bundy.